What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Popcorn Chicken. I'm your host, Alvin, and let's get into this week's news and rumors and everything in between. Some talk about a movie that dropped, a Marvel movie that it's got everybody divided over. Oh, what a coincidence, huh? A Marvel movie gets people all angry and divided, and some people happy, and some people like, why you're happy? You shouldn't be happy. This is a terrible. We'll get into it. That is our topic of the night. We'll get into it. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. Whether you're with somebody or alone, doesn't matter. Enjoy the night. If you're alone, it might be even a good thing these days, huh? For a lot of people, a peace of mind. Not to say that I'm not happy. I'm very happy in my relationship. I'm gonna be doing this show and gonna go spend time with my significant other, very very significant other. Did you get my dad joke on Twitter? I did not. I will take a look at it for sure, though. But don't tell anything. Don't say anything. We don't want D to know on Monday. So don't worry. We'll get you credit afterwards. I got a good show. Got a lot of things to get into. So news has dropped today and this week, and I'm excited to get into it. Some good news and some very cringy news. But we're gonna have to discuss it. We have to, whether I like it or not. We have to get into it. Plus, not only we're gonna end it off with the topic of the night. You saw the thumbnail, so you know what I'm going to be talking about toward the end of the show. I also have my top 5. It's been due for a few weeks. My top 5 all-time comedy TV shows. Top 5 all time. I'm going to be doing this sporadically through all the Popcorn Chicken shows. I'm going to do a top 5 of just about anything we can think of. If you got suggestions on top 5, you can go at our social media handle at A&R Universe. DM us a top 5 suggestion. You can put it in the comments when you watch this video, whether you're watching it live or later on. Put in the comments a top 5 of a movie or TV show. You can get as specific as you want in genre. You can get into like a sports top 5, comedy top 5 movie, TV show with action in it, whatever you want. Let me know, and I'll formulate a top 5 and bring up one top 5. I'll try to do it every live stream as possible. So we'll do that. Speaking of live streams, though, there's going to be a change to Popcorn Chicken due to my work. My schedule has changed. Yes, I do work. I have to make a living. This is not making a living. This is just fun to interact and have a hobby, so which I enjoy very much. I will have to do Popcorn Chicken on Sundays at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. So the time will stay the same, 4:30 p.m. Pacific time, but I'll move to a Sunday due to my work schedule. I apologize to anybody. Remember, it's going to be posted. It's going to be on YouTube. So if you can't make it, it's fine. I have not forgotten Valentine's Day. That is why I'm going to wrap the show up today within an hour and spend time with my significant other. I just mentioned that about 5 minutes ago. So don't worry. I've worked it out with the miss. And she's like, hey, that's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's all good. My wife is very supporting. She knows that I enjoy doing this stuff. So, yes. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into birthdays. Let's do some birthdays today. I'll give you guys a few seconds to get the age down, and then I will jump into the birthday age. So let's start off with, let's do one here. Let me take a look at the dates. Let's do happy birthday to John Travolta. I don't know if I did John Travolta last week or not. Can't remember. Well, if I did, we'll do it again. It's okay. John Travolta can have another happy birthday. How old is John? Johnny Boy. How old do you think Johnny Boy is? I'll give you guys a guess for 2 more seconds. Johnny is 70 years young. Wow, John. Not bad, not bad. Let's do another one. He said 58. Sorry, he's 70. You missed it by 12 years. Yeah, I know. 58 is, I was surprised when I saw that number. I'm like, 70. Wow. I definitely had him pegged around the early 60s. But time flies by. It sure does. Let's do some more birthdays. Birthdays. Let's do another one here. Happy birthday to Drew Barrymore, the beautiful, the lovely Drew Barrymore. How old do you think Drew Barrymore is? Give you guys a few seconds. My favorite Drew Barrymore movie. Oh, I think when she was a kid, E.T. I think that was a good one because she was unknown, and think about a career that spanned for so many years. She's one of the most underrated, I think, Hollywood stars. Like, I don't say that in like she's not talented or she is very talented. I'm talking about just someone that a lot of people forget. You know, like, and I've never heard anything bad about her. I've always heard like she's a great person through the social media and everything like that. But ET, I would have her. You thinking that Drew Barrymore's 85? Come on. Drew, come on. Drew Barrymore is 49 years old. Stop that nonsense. This guy's unbelievable. Let's do a couple more. One more. I'll do one more here. Oh, actually, I'll do two more here. Happy birthday to Ice-T, the rapper Ice-T. Oh, can you say the rapper Ice-T anymore? I think he's done more on Law and Order than he has in his rap career. I will say the Law and Order actor Ice-T. Rap game was good for what, a good decade, and that after that it was like he carved himself a career. Talk about a steady stream of income for this guy, right? He didn't get egotistical and say, "I know what, I want to do movies. I'm bigger than this TV show." He's like, "Nope, I'm going to stay right here with this show for a better part of a decade and over, and just collect a nice paycheck and be very happy with my life and be thankful." And you never hear anything bad about this guy. If you have, let me know. He's just steady as he goes. I'll get my checks and I'm good. The great Ice-T. How old is Ice-T today? I was surprised at this number. I was expecting him to be a bit older. Ice-T is 66 years young. Still, I thought he was going to be I thought he was hitting 70. So I thought he was about hitting 70 because he's been around a long time. But no, he's 66. So he's still in the 60s. I think he's got a good 5 more years left in him in terms of career-wise. Not life. I wish him a long life. 5 years more, I think, of Law and Order or any type of TV show or be relevant. I think he's good. 5 more years. But, I mean, good for him. What a career. Just consistently going and getting a check. Happy birthday to Mahershala Ali. How old is Mahershala Ali? Not Blade anymore, which is very disappointing because I was looking forward to him being Blade. He's got a good, vibe about him, and I thought if anyone could do it, it could be him. He has it in him. He's a good actor, a great actor actually. But no, I don't know, for whatever reason things went sour. A lot of back and forth between him and Marvel and the Marvel director, writer, etc. I liked him in the Green Book with Viggo Mortensen. Yeah, the Green Book. That was a great movie. I really enjoyed that movie. It surprised me. If you haven't seen that movie, go check it out. It's a very serious movie, so it's not like a comedy or anything like that. How old is Ali? Ali is better either 50 60. Hey, you can't cheat. You got to pick one number, okay? Stop it. House of Cards. Yeah, he was good in House of Cards too. Yes, I agree with you. Yeah, definitely. Mahershala Ali is 50 years young. 50 years. Happy birthday. The big 5-0. Good for him. I'll do one more. I lied. I'll do one more because I want to. And I think I've already done her birthday, but that's okay. Do it again. Who cares? Happy birthday to Elizabeth Olsen. The beautiful Elizabeth Olsen, aka Scarlet Witch. How old do you think Elizabeth is? This number shocked me. I thought she was older than this, but this number shocked me. There's a hint. And that's the last of the birthdays. Elizabeth is 35. Oh, you missed it by 5. She's 35 years young. So, happy birthday. And that's it for the birthdays. Let's do some events. I only got a couple of events, I believe, here. Not much going on this week in terms of big marquee events in Hollywood, unless I'm missing something. But I'm going just by what I found online. Let's see what we do. We will do. Oh, yes. In 2003, Bill Maher starts a show called Real Time with Bill Maher, debuts on HBO. It's a political talk show sprinkled in with some comedy. But if you're a fan of it, hey, cool for you. Some people love them, some people don't. Depends on your taste. But yeah, in 2003, he started that show, Bill Maher. I think I'm not a huge fan of the show. I don't watch it. I didn't watch it as a regular. I tune in here and there. But now with with YouTube and reels and clips and all this stuff online, you get snippets of some of his shows, some of his comments, and you get some of the stuff that he goes on podcasts like the Joe Rogan podcast. You get things like that. So you get some of what he did in his career in snippets, which is what it is now for a lot of things. If you want to go back to some of the older shows, you're going to get snippets now, which I guess is good for the younger generation who not seen some of these shows that have been around for about 20, 30 years plus. You get social media to kind of give you it's like a free ad basically, right? To tell you about something and perks your interest. You're like, oh, what's this? You see something for 20 seconds and you're like, okay, let's go check it out. So in that way, it's good. I do appreciate that because there's a lot of stuff that I see that I show to my kids. I'm like, hey, let's see, I watched this 25 years ago. And they're like, what the heck is that? And I'm like, well, take a look at it. And in that 10, 15 seconds, either they're sold or they're not sold on it. And so that's how it is now, right? That's the way it is. So, yeah, Bill Maher, 2003. One more, I guess we'll do. All right. In 2009, the 81st Academy Awards, a movie called Slumdog Millionaire won. Sean Penn and Kate Winslet win. And Heath Ledger posthumously wins Best Supporting Actor for his performance as the Joker in The Dark Knight. Ah, man. You want to say that if he had been alive, Chris Nolan would have a hard time. Christopher Nolan would have a hard time not bringing him back for the second time because he was so good. He is my favorite Joker. Favorite Joker of all time, I would say. Very, very close to he's first, and then number 1B would be the animated Joker from the Batman animations in the 90s. If you're talking about all Joker, not just live action. But yeah, he is my favorite Joker. I can watch that movie over and over again and just be entertained of how good he was. Rest in peace to him. I just got to say that if he was to be around again, I mean, if he was around, Christopher Nolan definitely would have had a tough decision whether to bring him back for another movie or not, because he was just so good with Batman, the chemistry and everything, and the history, obviously, with Joker at some capacity. Imagine him and Bane, or him and Bane both maybe going at it with each other, and then Batman being in the middle of it all. It would have definitely made that movie 10 times better. But, it is what it is. We get to enjoy that movie, though, at least. It's probably one of the best Batman movies of all time. There, I said it. Probably the best live-action Batman movie of all time. Yeah. But, yeah, in 81st First Academy Awards in 2009. So, yeah. That's the events that happened worth talking about. I mean, there's other events always happening, but that's what I wanted to talk about. So let's get into some of the topics around Hollywood. Don't forget, I'm going to do my top 5 comedy TV shows of all time, my top 5. And then we have our Captain America Brave New World. Is it that brave? It was brave of Marvel to drop it, but we'll talk about that in a bit. Variety Reports. I'll put this up so we can all see it. Variety is reporting that Dungeon and Dragons live action series is in the works. Okay. So the movie was good. Chris Pine, I thought was fantastic. I really enjoyed that movie. It was funny. It was just live action, the action packed stuff. The CGI was pretty good. It just, I don't know, the marketing maybe was not good because not enough hype was built on it to really push it. Because I went and saw this movie in the theaters and I had a blast. I had a blast. I had a drink and a popcorn in my hand, and I was just like, hey, this is funny. It's got action in it. It's the crazy world of D&D. And I'm like, sure. I walked out of that theater saying I was thoroughly entertained. Is it a amazing written movie? Is it going to win any Oscars? No. But I walked in not thinking that. I walked in like, I want to be wowed. I want to have some fun with it. I want a roller coaster ride. And I got that. So I thought that movie was good. And now there's talks of a D&D live action series in the works at Netflix. Fantastic. I love fantasy stuff like this. A big fantasy fan. Fantasy fan. Oh, that sounds funny. But I love the stuff. There is a huge D&D market. Massive audience for this. There's a lot of nerds and geeks on weekends hanging out with buddies playing 8 to 10 hours or more of D&D. Heck, Stranger Things, it based the story starting with that, of what kids did in the 80s. This spans back 25 plus years, 35 plus years, 45 plus years, if you want to really break it down to how many years and how long this has been around for. There is an audience for this, but you gotta get the story, you gotta get the CGI, you gotta get all of that stuff top notch. You gotta bring it because you need the casual audience to walk in and turn this on and go, okay, I don't play this game, but I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing, and I'm in it. Let's go for a ride. So, and I just hope Netflix really invests in this and gets it right. Let the creative people, who I hope the creative, first of all, is D&D fans. You need to have D&D people involved in this. You can't have people who have never played the game, read any of the books or anything like that. Like, you can't have that. Taz says Chris Pine movie should have been a TV series. Yeah, but I don't think Chris Pine would have done it. I think Chris Pine would have said, no, I want a movie out of it. It was fine as a movie. It was good because it was one and done. And if people loved it, then, they would have done a sequel. But I just feel the marketing was the reason why it didn't do as good as it was supposed to do. It didn't fail either. I didn't hear people going, "That's terrible." Maybe some hardcore, really D&D fans like, "This is stupid." You're always going to have some of those. But overall, I thought a lot of people enjoyed it. I personally, like I said, I enjoyed it. And this news, great. This is just fan service for a lot of people that have played this game for such a long time. They deserve this. They deserve a little bit of love. So the project is currently in development. Netflix. There had previously been a D&D series set up at Paramount Plus. Didn't move forward due to strategic shifts at Paramount, as well as the sale of co-studio E1 by Hasbro. Yeah, Hasbro sold it off. They tried to make figures from D&D. They just couldn't do it. It's a board game. People who play the game want to play with dice and cards and create stories. I don't think a lot of them are going to say, hey, look, this figure, I'm going to go buy this. I don't think that market isn't really focused on that. So I am happy. I really am happy. One, I love, like I said, fantasy stuff like this. And two, I think the fans of D&D deserve this. Let's just hope Netflix puts the money in it, puts the right people who are fans as well, or people who want to learn about it more and actually want to be true to it. Really give it that service it deserves. Not change it up. Please, for God's sakes, don't agenda this nonsense. I don't want to see any of this. Just have fun. Show a lot of fun on screen. Put the money into CGI. Make sure the writing is great, lots of action, comedy. If done right, this could be the new Stranger Things. Give 5 years of this, right? It should be fun. You can have so much, like it's limitless. You can do so many types of stories with this. You can just go wild with this. You can have amazing scenes. So no love for Dungeons and Dragons from 200 or 2000, you mean? I'm not a fan of it, but I respect this because how long I've never played Dungeons and Dragons myself, but I respect this lore. It's a big IP, and I'm happy and excited for this. I didn't say I didn't love it. Don't be putting me out like that. I was just talking about this and all the love it deserves, and I think if done right, they got a banger here. That's the key word. If it's done right, put the money into it. Bring Marlon Wayans back to D&D. Heck, why not? Who cares? Bring lots of people in there. Have some cameos to surprise people. It's a while. Netflix sure has the money because they've raised everyone's prices. Thank you, Netflix. Now I'm gonna pay $5 more than I was paying just a couple of years ago. So there you go. What else we got on deck here? Speaking of cringe, I did promise you guys. I said there's some good news and some cringe news. So speaking of cringe news, where'd it go? From Hollywood Reporters, we've got The Rings of Power officially renewed for season 3. Plans a major time jump. Can we just time jump to the point where they just stop the show? That would be amazing if they can do that and say, hey, we just timed up. Oh, we're done. All right, guys, see you later. Amazon relinquishes the rights. We're out. That will be a great day. This show is utterly trash. I've said it from day one. I have never, ever changed my mind on this thing. You can go back 2 years ago. I don't think I said it was trash before even it began because of the decisions they were going to make. And then to bring in these influencers who are not even, a Tolkien fan. They haven't even read any of the Tolkien books. There's just like, oh my God, my girl Galadriel. Oh my God. Yeah. You go, girl. Totally cringe. Not a fan of Tolkien. Don't even know what the man wrote. Didn't bother to read a book, but jumping up and down on nonsense. Gandalf the Sith is back for season 3. Yeah. Shout out Darth to you, buddy. Thank you for the support and love. Appreciate it. Yeah, so time jump. They begin filming this spring and shows Sauron beginning to craft the iconic One Ring. Ooh, oh my God. They're going to finally have Sauron with the One Ring. This show has done so much damage. So much damage to the entire Lord of the Rings Tolkien fantasy world. It's just mind-boggling the decisions they made. All you have to do is pick up a Tolkien book in this era and realize how much damage they have done in just 2 seasons. In just 2 seasons, how much damage they have done. How much lies they have put into these 2 seasons. Things that never happened. Characters that never existed. Changing the characters' overall stories. It just, the list goes on and how badly they've butchered and disgraced Tolkien's creation. That says we will see Sauron cry again in the next season. I hope so. Funniest meme I've used. Oh my god. Just so bad. From the writing, from the cast, from the cinematography, from the cheap props. The list goes on. And they have spent a record amount of money, the most amount of money ever spent on a TV show. Go look it up. I'm not even making this thing up. The most expensive TV show. And you look at it and you're like, where did the money go? Did they just put it in their pockets and run away? Is this how we launder money? Well, what happened here? The two doofuses, I think they also have another doofus with them, the showrunners. They went out before the show dropped, and you can find this online, and I've mentioned this so many times because I have to. They went out and said, we're going to stay true to Tolkien's, lore. We're going to be true and authentic to it. We're going to be respectful to it. And that's not true at all. It's not even close. It's not even close. They butchered and massacred this thing. And it just angers me because I love Tolkien. I'm not a super fan. I don't know every little detail about lower things, but I read some of the books. I watched the movies. I went and visited in the Shire in New Zealand. I went and visited it. It was some of the most amazing, beautiful, peaceful place I could visit. New Zealand there. It was amazing. I had a great time. And for God's sakes, I'll say it again and I'll show it again. I have the goddamn ring from the Shire. I bought it. It's really nice. It's got the carving, Elvish carving on there. So I'm a fan. And when I watched this, and I'm just like, what the heck is this crap? You're giving Bags of Rocks too much. You're giving her too much credit. The Bags of Rocks deserves better. Don't insult Bags of Rocks. Once swung, they are strong. Yeah. And this has nothing to do with female empowerment or being sexist and not supporting females on show. No, it has nothing to do with any of that. Nothing to do with that. It's nothing to do with the actress who's Galadriel. I'm not trying to shit on her. It comes down from the top, the writers, the directors, the showrunners. It comes out from there. The decisions they made it impossible for the show to be good. They had to remove the down buttons. I think it was when the trailer came out. They had to remove that because it got actually obliterated. It was like 70 to 30% ratio. I watched episode 1 to 4 and I watched the trailer for season 2 for free, and I still want my money back. I have a Prime account because we do order stuff from Prime, so it's already included, right? I can't get rid of it. And so I watch it because I'm like, I'm a fan. I have to watch this. And, we do actually episodic breakdowns. We did that when the last season was there. And you want to give it a fair shake. You want to give it a fair shake, not shit on it and not see it. But then when you watch it, you're like, why do I keep going back to this nonsense? And you're like, well, I got to do it because I got to be honest with my reviews. And when we do our episodic reviews, you got to watch it, obviously. And that's the only reason I watch it. If I didn't have to do reviews on it, I would never watch it. Because I watched 2 seasons of this. I'm like, it's not getting any better. You see season 1, you're like, okay, maybe they'll figure this out and actually start doing it properly. Give them a year to figure this out. And then you see season 2 and you're like, it got worse. It didn't get any better. It got worse. They made massive mistakes. There are decisions in the show that it doesn't make any sense. The fight scenes are horrible, just atrocious. Random actors or random characters get their moment in the sun for no reason. it and the plot lines, the holes in it, it's just all over the place. It is a disaster. And I can't wait for season 3 so I can go and roast it again. So yes, season 3, come on in. We're gonna roast you again. All right, what else we got here? All right, so finally some good stuff here. Deadline reports the HBO drama. I should put this on here so you guys know what I'm talking about. The House of Dragon drama. It's going to start off, season 3 is going to start off with a massive war. Cannot wait. Now, I have not read House of Dragons, so I don't know what's coming. I don't have the time. I'm doing a lot of other stuff that I'm reading right now. I will eventually try to read this book and see if I can catch up to it before the show ends. But they're going to do a massive war at the beginning. It's going to be very bloody. I'm excited for this. But I'm also excited for Knights of the Seven Kingdoms. That book I am halfway through. So there's going to be why is there so many ads in this thing? Jesus, Deadline, come on. Do you really need all this money? Probably, right? So Deadline is saying that, they're going to have season 3. It's going to start filming. It's going to have 8 episode second season, right? And then it's going to have, season 3 is going to surprise people with 8 episodes. I don't know how many seasons they're going to have. Episodes they're going to have. Wow, I can't really talk right now. I'm going to say 8 again. They like to trim it. I'm fine with that. Look, if a couple of the episodes go over an hour mark, great, cool. I don't want to wait another 2 weeks for another episode when you could just add it on to 2 episodes and tack it on a little bit and make it longer. I'm fine with that. In fact, go ahead. Do that. I hate waiting weeks and weeks and weeks for things to end. Just give me you could give me 6 to 8 weeks, I'm good. As long as it's an hour an episode, not what Disney does with 27-minute or 24-minute nonsense. Give me an hour, strong hour, and give me 8 weeks with that. We're good. We good. But not only are they doing House of Dragons season 3, they're going to do, like I said, Knights of the Seven Kingdoms. That's going to be sort of when House of Dragon ends, Knights of the Seven Kingdoms starts. So you're going to have, year-round of this amazing lore. Game of Thrones lore. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait. I don't have to wait a whole year and a half or something for this to come back. I'm going to have 2 going at the same season. Now, there's talks for another spinoff. They don't know exactly. There was one that got canceled. Can't remember the name, but there's talks for another one. There were supposed to be 5 in the works. Talk about milking this. And the thing is, when I heard about the 5, I'm like, oh, is this going to get watered down? Are people going to be annoyed with this? But the ratings say otherwise. It's through the roof again. House of Dragons get great ratings. I think like I said, I've gone through about 60% of the Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and I like it a lot. It takes place in 100 years before Game of Thrones. It's a smaller centric story. It's got a great character in the middle of it all. And I like it. I really like it. It's violent too. It's not like for kids. It's very violent. And I like the 60% that I've so far read. I'm enjoying it. I'm hoping most of it is true. They stick to the book as close as possible. They're going to make some changes. They have to, right? But I'd hope the core of it all stays the same. Based on the trailer I saw, it looks like the characters are pulled right out of the pages. There you go. Thank you. Council show is called Blood Moon. That's actually funny. House of Dragons has consistently made announcements before overshadow Rings of Power. That's HBO sticking it to. That's Warner Brothers sticking it to Amazon, and Warner Brothers sticking it to Amazon. I believe they're making a Lord of the Rings Gollum TV show or movie. I don't know. I'll see it and we'll see what. I'm not really interested in Gollum anymore. I think that ship was sailed with Rings of Power, or sorry, Lord of the Rings. How dare I say that? Um, but I mean, we'll see. I'm very excited for these two to come out. Hurry up already, damn it! So, yeah, if you want a good read, I definitely say check out Night of the Seven Kingdoms. It's fun. You can audiobook it to an Audible. It's good read. It's interesting. So yeah, very excited for these two shows to come out. It's going to be fun. What do we got here? Do we have anything else to add? All right, let's do my top 5 comedy shows of all time. Let's do it right now. Okay, this is my top 5. Okay, I'm going to do an honorable mention. Honorable mention. Honorable mention is where to go. If I can find it, that'd be great. Here it is. So honorable mention for it's not my top 5, but it's an honorable mention here. There it is. 2.5 Men. It's my honorable mention for my favorite comedy shows of all time. Okay. That's my honorable mention. So number 5. Oh, we're still talking about the other one. That's fine. Tav says, I'd rather watch the worst episode of Game of Thrones before the best episode. You know, you're right. You're absolutely right. I would do too. Yes. Before Ashton Kutcher. Definitely before Ashton Kutcher. I'm sorry. Charlie Sheen was good. It sucked that he I did read up on this while I've been binging it now. I did read up there was what do you mean question? Oh, sorry, you're asking the question after. Why is it delayed here? It's before for me, not after. I think Ashton Kutcher was all right, but not that good. I think is before is funnier. But it looks like everybody has become friends now again. Everybody's kind of reconciled their differences. I was reading up because there was an attempt to bring the show back. I don't think it's going to work, especially with everyone having their feelings these days hurt about the smallest little thing. This show loved to, how shall I say it? Was very touchy with women. Charlie Sheen obviously was a playboy, and I don't know if today's world will accept that, which I just find that weird. But not even his dad, President, could have Charlie Sheen. Oh, you're good today, man. Tab, you're bringing the heat today. I like it. You're making my day go well. So that's my honorable mention. Okay, let's do my 5. Number 5 on the list here of my favorite comedy shows of all time. It is the Fresh Prince of. I should really get rid of that thing here at the bottom. But anyways, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That is my number 5 on my list. I loved this show growing up. I watched it as a teenager, and I really, really enjoyed this show. Lots of fun. Oh man, just so much fun. I actually want to go back and watch this show again. Forget anything that's going on with Will and all that stuff. Forget all that. Just I'm talking about this show in its time was awesome. Personally, I loved it. Great show. Funny, but also, they did hit on some points, and they weren't like See, the difference between today's shows, um, or movies is they try to hammer you with agendas. So nonstop. This show sprinkled it in here and there, gave you some serious moments to think about, but most of the time it was just comedy, fun, and entertainment. That's what they focused on first, and then they threw in here and there moments to kind of let you know that it's not always peachy. And that's what I loved about this show. It tried to be funny, but at times also make you aware. But it wasn't like constantly hammering you and telling you about specific movements or rights or agendas and how dare you and all that stuff. It wasn't trying to beat you with like a dead horse. So I appreciated the show. I really loved Will Smith. Carlton was hilarious. I really enjoyed watching the show. It's number 5 on my list. And how many seasons is it? Let me look this up here. I have it on my notes. But it ran for 6 seasons. So not a long history, but 6 seasons and over 100 episodes. So that was great. Back then when they actually had actual seasons of shows, not like 3, 4, 5 episodes like Disney Plus does and then calls it a season. I mean, it's just the work ethic is terrible. But anyways, 6 seasons. Started in 1990. The Fresh Prince of Bel Air as number 5 on my list. Number 4 on my list. Right here, bring this up. It's Family Matters. Family Matters, number 4 on my list. Came out in 1989. It ran for 9 seasons. Did I do that? If you don't know Family Matters, I'm probably aging myself. If you see my list, yeah, I'm definitely aging myself, but that's okay because I don't care. I loved Family Matters, TGIF, right? Friday nights, Family Matters was a mainstay for me. I had to watch it, right? Urkel was I remember the time when Urkel became cool and became Stefan. I'm like, holy smokes, this is the greatest thing ever, right? But it was just the actor just being able to do so many things, right? He was super talented. Family Matters. I've loved the show. I love it, love it, love it so much. Again, another show at times sprinkled in some seriousness of what's going on in society, right? But overall, it was just a nerd, just trying to fit in. This was his surrogated family that he didn't have. He wanted to be part of this family. Um, just a great show, all on fun show. Really enjoyed it. I remember my youngest son watching it a little bit. It was about a year or two ago. He watched a couple episodes. And I can hear him giggling and laughing, and I'm like, it was so awesome. Like, my son actually liked something I liked when I was a kid. So I'm like, this is awesome. Just see decades later that somebody likes the jokes that the show had, and that's how funny the show was. That the jokes still are funny today, and the acting and everything is just fantastic, over the top funny, right? So it was good. Family Matters, number 4 on my list. All right, number 3 on my list. I watched Family Matters too young, so I never watch it again. Maybe you'll get it. My son watched it just a year or two ago and loved it. So go binge it. Check it out. Why not? It's wholesome, right? It's wholesome. That's what I love a lot. Speaking of wholesome, it doesn't get more wholesome than this show for me. Number 3 on my list, Perfect Strangers. The intro song to the connection of somebody in the US accepting an immigrant. I mean, right now what's going on, right? You look at what's going on in the political landscape right now, and then you watch this show. This was America. This is America giving everybody an opportunity, a chance, accepting differences, right? This is what America was all about, and it's still about. I truly believe there's a lot of great people still in America that believe this. And so I don't want to get into politics on that. I'm just saying that this show was great for its time. It accepted differences of people, different people, and the two of them, Balki Bortakamus and Larry Appleton. Oh man, just slapstick funny comedy. I really enjoyed watching this. I still watch it from time to time. Fantastic. Number 3 on my list. It came out in, let me pull this up here, 1986. It ran for 8 seasons. Wow. 8 seasons. So, takes place in Chicago, right? So, yeah, we do the dance of joy. If you don't know what that is, go look it up to laugh. But number 3 on my list of top comedy series of all time from me. All right, number 2. We're getting to the end here for it. Number 2 is Seinfeld. So Seinfeld for me was like a fine bottle of wine. As it aged, it got better for me. Originally, when I watched Seinfeld, I was like, "Yeah, it's all right." It had its moments here and there. I wasn't a big fan. I was not. The I didn't understand how to watch this show. There's a way to watch this show. You have to, if you're gonna watch it for the first time, you've got to watch it from start to finish. You cannot jump into this show. I mean, you can, but there are a lot of callbacks in this show that you're gonna miss because you didn't watch it together all at once. So if you're watching it for the first time, I suggest you watch it in sequence. Or if you haven't watched it in a long time and you've forgotten some of the episodes, watch it from the beginning because it's just more funny. It's hilarious. Some of the callbacks they do, you're like, oh, you have an extra laugh because of the callbacks, right? And it's so well written. You appreciate it when you actually focus and watch the show. And the writing is just phenomenal. Just phenomenal. And what can you say about the 4 of them? These guys are superstars. And there's a reason why they're around for, what is it, 9 seasons. 9 seasons they're around for. Just phenomenal. Phenomenal comedy. Very smart comedy. Very intelligent comedy. That's what I liked about this. I like comedy from different levels, slapstick to wholesome. This is just sheer genius in the way this was written. Just sheer genius. You really have to listen to the lines, the callbacks, and how it's put together, how the episode from start to finish is intertwined in a great story. Sometimes multiple stories happening at the same time. That's how brilliant this show was. And it was, and then of course you sprinkle in the actors just doing, top level acting to bring you that comedy out. Right. So number 2 on my list of my favorite comedies of all time. Number 1. Now this show I can watch all the time, anytime, and laugh. It's my favorite of all time. Married with Children. I love this show. I don't care what anybody thinks. I don't care if your feelings are hurt. This is comedy gold right here. It's not genius. It's not wholesome. It's just good old comedy offending everybody. But it's comedy. And if you don't like it, don't watch it. That's fine. I love it. I love all the jokes that Al makes, and he spreads it out to everybody out there. I love it. It's fantastic. It was for its time, I think it was one of the most strong, aggressive comedy you could get. It had everything in it, right? It had a bumbling man who could barely look after his family because he's a shoe salesman. He was a loser, right? You had beautiful women there, including Peggy, Kelly, and all the guests that showed up. There's a lot of celebrities that showed up in the show. I remember episodes where they had, somebody was gay, somebody was a supermodel, somebody was a little hefty, and they they didn't care. They made fun of everybody and they enjoyed it, and they respected everybody at the end too. and some of them got, Al was always at the receiving end of being a loser. He was always going to be a bum, right? That was the whole thing. Like he's always gonna come out at the end as a loser, and that's what makes the show funny because no matter how many things he did and made fun of somebody, you knew at the end he was gonna get it, and he was gonna be put down. And it was like so many times he would just be a loser, and that's what made the show funny. He's like, hey, yeah, sure, this guy's making fun of a fat lady or, trying to hit on or trying to make fun of his wife or not having food. But at the end of the day, he was the loser. He was the one of the biggest losers of them all, right? And that's what made the show so funny. The acting was top notch. The people in there were just absolutely funny. Uh, George's parents were priceless. Oh yes, yeah, Festivus. um, Kudos to being able to say the friend's last name. Oh, you have your list here too. Fantastic. Okay, Arrested Development. Okay, Wings. Oh, Wings. Okay, I remember watching Wings. I wasn't 100% into Wings, but okay, I see you. Big Bang Theory. Okay, a lot of people didn't like Big Bang Theory when I told them. I remember when I first was introduced to Big Bang Theory. I think I binged like 4 seasons in one day. I think so. It was insane. I went to bed like 3 a.m. It was crazy. Living Color, Martin Living Color, yeah. Malcolm in the Middle, yep. These are great. These are great. See, there's so many gold comedy shows from the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, right? And I'll do more. I'll do specific stuff. Like I'll do like a 90s top 5 comedy. I'll do a bunch of stuff from different genres throughout. Yeah, I agree with you. It was gold. It started. That's why I said first 4 seasons I binged it like crazy, loved it. After that, there were moments, but that was a show that needed to end, and I think it hung on for another year or so, too long. It wasn't horrible, but it was not as close to what the beginning years are because the characters evolved and I think they didn't know what to do because they all weren't losers anymore. They weren't looking for girlfriends. They already had some of them already had girlfriends or married. So it's like they're not really losers anymore. The whole premise was they're geeks that couldn't find girlfriends or awkward in trying to go out with girlfriends or being turned down or dumped. That was some of the funny parts that was involved and made the show good in the first 4 seasons. Taz says, I do agree with Married with Children, Seinfeld, and Fresh Prince. I started with mine with some other classics. Yeah. Um, they're just so many good shows that came out. So many good. And it was difficult for me. Like I said, I had to do an honorable mention because if I had a top 10, some of this, what you just mentioned, would be in there. But it was just like really difficult. I'm like, I want to do top 5s only because I want to make it difficult on myself and how I rank them and really think about it. Right. And so going to the next show, I'll do another top 5 of something else. And it's going to really make me think about how to, it's going to make it tough on me. And that's what I want. I don't want it to be easy. Top 10 is just a little too long and makes it a little too easy to sneak in things and make it too easy on yourself. Top 5 makes it harder. And I want that. That's a challenge for me going forward. So I'll do another one next episode. Like I said, next episode is going to be on a Sunday. It's going to be at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. Is probably be my last. Next week will be on a Sunday, but after that, I think I'm heading out to Japan, so there will be no shows. We'll announce that ahead of time for it. But let's get into a topic of the evening. Oh yeah, let's do this. Ah. Captain America. Let's take this out. There we go. Captain America and the Brave New World. Does Smiling Friends count? It's insanely funny, but it's a cartoon. Yeah, I mean, hey, I can do it. Funny comedy cartoons. I could do that. one day. So we can do a top 5 cartoons from 90s or 80s. We'll have fun with it. Don't worry. There's a lot I can do. So we'll get into those down the road. Get off my plane, Catherine. All right, let's talk about this. I have not seen this movie because I didn't have the time to see it. Plus, today was Valentine's Day, and I did not want to ask my wife, "Hey, do you want to go see Captain America?" And she would just like, "Do you want to sleep on the couch all weekend?" So I don't want to push it. I'm already doing this show on Valentine's Day, so I'm not pushing it anymore. Let's get into this. But I went on the internet, and from the last 48 hours, there's been a bunch of people, a lot of shills, a lot of people who are actually paid with their money, a lot of people who were given free tickets. I don't care how they saw it, whatever. I'm here to just talk about what I've been hearing about this and what I've been saying before this movie came out. I already told everybody, and I said it from the beginning, this movie was not going to be good because of what I was hearing and what the premise was going to be and what the decisions they made prior to this movie being made. Giving, and I talked this at length about giving Falcon the shield, but I want to go back a little bit more than that. Not just the shield. Falcon and Winter Soldier, when they first got together, was in Civil War with Captain America, Civil War. And you can see instant chemistry with the two of them when they were fighting Spider-Man. Spoilers, I haven't seen it, anybody. And they both got outdone by Spider-Man. You can see instant chemistry there developing, which is when the light bulb turned on probably for them and said, hey, let's do a TV show with these guys, right? We probably won't be able to do a movie because they can't hold their own. That's what they were thinking of. So that's why they did a TV show. So they did a TV show, and the TV show, the two of them were fine. The story just sucked. The antagonist sucked. Freckle-faced woman really doesn't scare me when I'm, Winter Soldier and Falcon. So I just thought the decision to have, excuse me, the decision to have that as one of the bad guys was a terrible idea. They could have done so much better. Baron Zemo was all right. The dance scene was the best part probably for him. Yeah, I was going to get into that. Let me finish here. So they decided to do a TV show. People liked this two of them, the buddy cop chemistry, the broski, the bromance. It was good. I didn't mind that part. When they decided to give Anthony Mackie's character, Falcon, the shield, I thought about all the work was put into in Civil War went to shits. The whole story, the whole fight sequence at the end happened because Captain America didn't want to give up on his friend. Okay, you think about that. It stemmed from there where Iron Man and Captain America divided and went their own ways because of him sticking with his friend Bucky and saying, nope, he's not evil. He should not be killed. He should not be arrested. He can change. Even when Iron Man found out that Bucky, Winter Soldier, killed his parents. Okay. Cap still stuck with his friend. There was an instant respect. There was an instant story that built from there. There was a stem that started there. The trunk of the story started for these character developments for the two of them. Having that connection, having that friendship, going back to the first Captain America, even before you want to step back from Civil War. So there was a growth of character development and, that friendship. And, a tree starts from a stem and works its way at the roots, stem and works its way up, right? And that's what this friendship was about. And that's how it was going. It was blossoming into a beautiful tree, right? Even at the end of the movie, he takes him to Wakanda to get him rehabilitated. And then that whole, the white tiger, getting him a new arm, in, developing that story even further. It was great. It was fantastic. But then the decision where Caps is sitting there at the end of Endgame and says, Falcon, you take it. Now, the story with Falcon and him was good too. It was good. But it wasn't like they stood up for each other so that nobody else can be like, there was no like strong connection between the two. They were friends, they're allies, they were Avengers. They helped, they fought together. But it wasn't like they were inseparable. Like they can, they had, what I'm trying to say is they were not as strong. The bond wasn't strong as Bucky and Cap, because that is what culminating over 75 years ever since World War, where they have known each other and how far they've come. One thinking that one died, the other one thinking, okay, that one died. And then to find out remember when he first finds out that it's Bucky, he's like, what the hell? It's Bucky. It's my friend. I thought he was dead. He's gone. And then Bucky looks at him, I thought, you're gone. You're dead. You fell off the train. You should have been dead. Here you are, alive. So there's that long history. And I thought that was such an important history, the connection. And I know in the comics, Falcon gets the shield and all that stuff. I get all that. But since when did Marvel, the MCU, follow directly all the comics, right? They're supposed to carve their own story, sometimes for good or bad, right? But I think in this specific situation, they should have given the shield to Bucky because of the bond the two of them had, which is a lot stronger than what Falcon and Captain America had. Right. And so I think that's where the problem started. And then the other issue is like, hey, well, Bucky's got the super soldier serum too, so he can actually throw that frisbee, around. That frisbee looks good, right? And so when you see Anthony Mackie throw it around, and a friend of mine, D, mentions that it's vibranium, it's lighter, so you can throw it around as a human. And I'll give him the benefit of the doubt with that. But it just felt right to give it to Bucky with what they've gone through for so long together. I mean, think about it. They started a goddamn civil war, the two of them. And, I appreciate the on your left stuff in Endgame. That was cool and all that. But I just felt that was the direction it should have went. So they didn't go that direction. Okay. They give it to Anthony Mackie's character, Falcon. They do the show. Falcon's costume at the end looks like it got inflated. It's just like a raft stuck on him. It just looks so bad. And then that horrible scene. You got to do better. You got to do better. Bucky, yeah, Taft says, Bucky, you are my best friend. I trust you with my life. Now you are next Captain America guy. I joked. Yeah. I don't know. And this is where we're at now. Now we're at this movie. This movie should have never been made. Okay. We know why they made it, because they really want to push this character as front and center. Right? Yeah. Hashtag. You got to do better. Everyone's saying that to Marvel right now, because Marvel's probably saying that to themselves. Probably saying it to Kevin Feige, the board members, to Feige. You got to do better, Feige. So, because of that decision, there is a lot of people upset that decision didn't go that way. And this has nothing to do with actor, race. It's about what you built in the MCU universe. You made us feel this attachment, this bromance between the two of them, a strong bond that goes back over 70 years in the MCU timeline. And then you decide to give the shield to Anthony Mackie, who he met just recently in the timeline. It didn't make sense. That's what I'm trying to say. So when that happens, you're like, okay. Now you got the show, which is all you're like, okay, they still have the chemistry. There's still an opportunity for Anthony Mackie Falcon to give the shield to Bucky and say, I think Cap would have wanted you to have this instead. Especially when Bucky was in the show going through that mental illness he's going through, and he was fighting it himself, right? I think there was an opportunity in the show to reverse that call, right? But they didn't do it. They still stuck with it. And the movie, what I've been hearing from a lot of people, they just feel that he's not the one that should be holding the shield. Now they OG'd powered him, like they amped up his power. They gave him vibranium wings and things because they want to know, they want to tell you, because that was the argument. Like, hey, Why didn't he take the serum? Why didn't he take the serum? He had an opportunity to serum. I still don't know why he didn't take the serum. If somebody said to me, hey, take the serum, it's going to make you stronger, faster, and live longer probably too, take the serum. It worked for Cap. Take it. So I don't know what they were trying to do. If you want him to be the leader of the Avengers, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because he doesn't evoke leadership. That's the problem. What was wrong with Falcon? There was nothing wrong with that character. Anthony Mackie, I call him Mac, killed it. Did a great job. I had no issues with him being Falcon. He wasn't even a sidekick at one point. He stood out. He was trying to help, especially when he got his drones. He's like, okay, I can do a little bit more now. I've got artificial intelligence helping me out, right? But being a leader, he doesn't evoke leadership. That's my opinion on it. Okay, if you feel differently, that's fine. Let me know in the comment section if you feel that he can be a leader in the MCU, right? So this movie didn't have a chance from the beginning because of the decisions they made, and people were not happy. You already had a divided audience, especially in the comic book geek fandom. You already had some people saying, I don't think that was a good idea, even though in the comics, yeah, right? Comics have different storylines, different comic series, so you can make those storylines work. We got one MCU here. Yeah, you do have branches off, but we got this one MCU that you've built for over 10 years. You're stuck with what worked, what should work going forward based on what you built. They built the house. I just don't know why they couldn't just build on it. You know, I just don't understand. And the decisions are showing now. The bad decisions are showing because this movie, from all accounts, and I'll pull it up here, currently sits at 50% on Rotten Tomato. I wonder if I can make it bigger. There you go. 50% from critics and 78% from audiences. Now, what I do is I take the sort of the average between the two because I think that's sort of the truer number. Sometimes critics are full of themselves, and there's been a lot of negative hate on Marvel just for the sake of it. Before they were all kissing the you-know-whats. Now there's, negative hate. You got to do better on Tomatoes. Yeah. So I take the average, and I think it's somewhere between 60 to 62%, I want to say. Or 60 to 65%, sorry. So somewhere there is the average, which is not a terrible movie. If you take that score, let's say 65, be generous, 65%. It's not a terrible movie, but it's not a great movie either, right? So I haven't seen it. Like I said, I will see it eventually, probably on a Tuesday or something. But I feel like this movie didn't have a chance at all because of what transpired, and people weren't really asking for this. And also the marketing for this was terrible. Nobody even knew this movie was coming out 2 months ago. Nobody cared about it. Deadpool and Wolverine, people were clamoring for it 8 months before it came out. They were dying to see this movie. And it did gangbuster numbers, right? Because Ryan Reynolds knows how to market himself. And he did a phenomenal job how to market that movie. These guys, not so much. Only the last couple of weeks that you start seeing more, hearing more about it. And that's the typical thing they do in marketing, is they ramp it up in the last couple of weeks. But this movie didn't have that. John, what's the actor in here? John, the cast or crew here. Let's just click on that. See. Giancarlo Esposito. His character, from what I heard, was completely useless. There's no reason to have this character. It felt like this character was just thrown in there, and then later on decided to cut it out, more of the character storyline. A lot of people are saying that this definitely looks like a chopped movie. It felt like there's a lot of things cut out from it. And then Danny Ramirez, who plays the sidekick, the new Falcon, which I didn't mind. I liked him in the TV show. I thought I knew he's going to be the new sidekick. I don't mind that character. I have no issues with that. Some people said that he did a good job, but he was also too anxious. He was very, how shall I say that, 1960s Robin, Dick. He was very anxious, like, gee golly, one of those things. And some people thought that was a little corny. but I didn't mind it. I mean, I don't mind him being there. Where does this rank? Okay, let's look at where it ranks. Let's add this on here. So where does the Captain America of all the Marvel or MCU movies, where does this movie rank based on Rotten Tomatoes? You got to scroll all the way down to 33 out of 35 movies that Rotten Tomatoes ranked, one being the best, 35 being the worst. It ranked at 33. Now, I personally think I haven't seen it yet, but it's got to be better than the Marvels. It's got to be better. I don't want to see this movie ever. So I'm not even going to comment on this movie. I don't want to see it. I just don't care for it at all. So I think in my opinion, I think it's probably 32, and this drops down to 33. Eternals was bad. It's not good at all. And then Ant-Man was really bad. Oh, oof, the CGI, the story, oof, stinky. Dark World was pretty bad too. Hulk. Speaking of that, you can do this all day, huh? I could do this all day. You gotta add that in there. So yeah, I just don't think the decision to put this movie was a good idea. Now, adding the Red Hulk, not having the Green Hulk there, another disastrous decision. Why even do it? Why have a powerful onslaught of a character fighting him? Yeah, he's got vibranium suit, he's got, some tech on him, but come on, are you serious? He can crush him with one strong blow. The Hulk, when he was fighting Iron Man had to go get the Hulk Buster to just keep up. And he still got his, pounded half the time. So I don't know. The push to do this, I don't know where it's going to lead to now. This is a disastrous thing for Marvel. They want to start this year with the bang, and they got a whimper, right? Yeah, I agree with you. You got to bring the crazy Hulk back. I mean, they were so desperate to make people remember the crazy Hulk that they added storyline from the Edward Norton Hulk into this. No spoilers. But they were adding stuff from there, making you want to think about that movie rather than anything that the Hulk in the MCU did. So it just tells you how bad it was. They're trying to introduce you to adamantium so that you can start thinking about X-Men. This wasn't the movie for it, though. That's another disaster. They're going to have to revamp this from the Secret Wars to get it right again. I'm going to go see it, and I will give my honest take on it, hopefully, next week if I get a chance. But, yeah, exactly. Put in February so that we can quickly forget about it before summer comes around, when Fantastic Four comes on. That better be a good movie. Because if you get 2 duds in a year, ooh, you might have to pull the pin on future projects for a while and let people forget. Because that's the only way you're going to get people back. It's forget the poo-poo that you've been pushing out. But anyways, great show today. I want to end it off here. I've got to go hang out with the beautiful wife of mine, spend Valentine's. I hope you guys had a good Valentine, or have a good Valentine, and have a good weekend. And I will see you guys. Oh, I'll talk about the Thunderbolts. Don't you worry. Next week. Oh, we'll get to that. Don't you worry. We'll circle back on that. But everybody, thanks for joining me. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Support me. Hang out with me. Talk with me. Tav, thanks for hanging out with me, buddy. Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. Have a good weekend. We'll chat later.